Hi, this is Danny Flexen here with the latest edition of FLEXpectations. We're here just before the start of the press conference for Ted Cheeseman, big challenge for the European title against Sergey Garcia here in London. And press conference hasn't kicked off yet, but that's one of the shows we're going to be talking about. What I should really kick off with is the huge show in Texas this weekend, which features Sergey Kovalev aiming what could be the last chance saloon for him, aiming for a shot at redemption against the guy who surprised him and flattened him, it's fair to say, in August last year, Eleider Alvarez. Now, that was an upset. Kovalev had come back with 2 good wins since back-to-back defeats to Andre Ward. He was expected to get past Alvarez, who hadn't really excited yet as a pro until that fight. He was a good amateur, quarter-finalist in the Olympics, came into that fight as a slight underdog and just competed well until round 7 when the finish came. It was quite a close fight, a cagey fight at times, but then just absolutely pummeled him in that 7th round, dropped Kovalev 3 times. And this is someone who maybe in the second fight against Andre Ward showed some fragility, but previous to that had never really looked vulnerable. Really star-making performance from Alvarez. It's a shame it's been so long waiting for the rematch, but it's here now. And the question is, Kovalev now, new trainer after a bitter split with John David Jackson. He's now with Buddy McGirt, who's worked on these sort of reclamation projects before. Can he come back and find the Kovalev of old, who was so dominant for years at light heavyweight, the guy who beat Bernard Hopkins, who outsmarted the smartest veteran going? It's hard to say, but Eleider Alvarez still looks like he's improving, even though he's advanced in age. He's still relatively fresh as a pro. I'd fancy him to repeat the trick, probably via later stoppage this time. I expect a better performance from Kovalev, but I'm just not convinced he can last the distance. I think the openings will still be there for Alvarez, and I think if he gets those openings, he's powerful enough and ruthless enough to take advantage of them. It's quite a stacked show as well from main events and top rank, or top rank and main events out in Texas. You've got a vacant IBF title fight between Richard Commey and Isa Shanayev. For Commey, it's his second shot at the belt. He's only lost twice overall, Richard Commey, a guy who's been based over here for a while. Those 2 defeats were both split decisions. He's been working hard, he's fought in good company, had some good wins on the way to getting another chance. Shanayev's less experienced. He came through a tough fight with Ismael Barroso, who you remember beating Kevin Mitchell, losing to Anthony Crolla over here. That was tougher than expected for him. He's lost before in his career. You would expect Commey to win inside the distance and finally get that world title that a lot of people feel he's deserved for some time, the IBF belt. Further down the card, it'll be good to get a look at Teofimo Lopez, much touted prospect. He's going in with Diego Magdaleno at lightweight. Magdaleno hasn't really looked the same since Terry Flanagan obliterated him a few years ago, and he's been really inactive. I think he's had 3 fights in 3 years since. So Lopez should be able to look good against him and, increase that star quality that's already there in abundance. Also, Oscar Valdez is returning for the first time since having his jaw broken in a points victory against Scott Quigg last year. He's been out for almost a year after that. Obviously, tricky surgery when jaws are broken, I've been told. And he is still the WBO featherweight champion. There's been talk about him fighting perhaps Carl Frampton next, maybe even Josh Warrington in a unification, although Kid Galahad and his team have something to say about that now. So we'll have to wait and see what the next step is for him. But it'll be interesting to see how he looks. And coming back after a broken jaw, will he fight more tentatively? He's known for going to war. But will it be in the back of his mind a little bit? We shall wait and see. Then we've got the big show in England Saturday night, which is the one that we're here at the press conference for now. Ted Cheeseman challenged for the European Super Welterweight title against Sergey Garcia of Spain. Not the golfer, most overused joke for the past 3 weeks in boxing. But Garcia, solid, never been defeated as an amateur or pro, although he didn't compete at a high level as an amateur, he didn't compete internationally. As a pro, fought all the time back home in Spain. He's never been outside the country for a fight yet. Watched a bit of him on YouTube. Looks solid, capable, but not overly impressive, whereas Cheeseman looks a real fighter on the rise, someone who could really go to the next level. I think people are being a bit overcautious about this fight in that, everyone discounted Francisco Patera, and he came over and upset Lewis Ritson. So people are now worried they're going to fall into the same trap of underrating a foreign invader, if you like. But I think in this case, Cheeseman's a bit more seasoned than Ritson. He hasn't been knocking everyone out in a couple of rounds. He's got the rounds in against quality opposition. I think he's ready for this step up against Sergio Garcia. So I expect Cheeseman to win. I think he might be extended to the 12-round distance this time. I think Cheeseman also, after criticism of his last couple of fights, may box a bit more than usual. We may see a bit more of his skills, which he's fully capable of. Also on that bill, a big grudge match between Jake Paul and Craig Richards. Been delayed a couple of times previously, leading Craig Richards to be very frustrated, to lash out at Jake Paul, especially on social media and at the previous press conference. Looking forward to seeing that one. Really like Craig Richards' spirit, the fact that he jumped in against Frank Buglioni in a British title shot at short notice. Jake Paul, he seems to have a renewed purpose since he's moved to the Ingle gym. He's taller, he's got a bigger frame, he's rangier. He's probably got the better boxing skills as well. If he can keep it at range until he weakens his opponent sufficiently enough to go into range and unload the big bombs, I think he'll probably do enough to win, either on points or via late stoppage. But what do you think is the biggest fight of the weekend? Which one are you most looking forward to and why? Let us know in the comments section below. And also give us your predictions. You know, we're always in line for an upset, and I'm sure there's some big odds out there that we can all take advantage of. FLEXpectations will be back next week, 4:30 PM, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.